Hey there everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Melanie and I'm the owner of Lost and Found. And today in this short video, I want to talk to you guys about your options for where to sell your painted furniture. This is going to be a great video for anyone, especially who is just starting out trying to flip painted furniture. We're going to walk through your options, the pros and cons of each, so you can know what is the right next step for you. All right guys, so for this video, change of pace, I'm outside on my back patio. It's a gorgeous day and frankly, I just really wanted to be outside. So if you hear the occasional plane flying over, or I've got some wind chimes blowing, just set that aside, focus on our content here, and we're gonna get through your options for where to sell your painted furniture. So I sold my first piece of painted furniture 14 years ago, which is crazy to think about. I was painting and selling furniture kind of before selling painted furniture was a thing. I've had the opportunity to help a lot of other people learn how to start their own painted furniture business also. And one of the things that you have to decide when you start, and you have to think about as you're going along, is where are you going to sell your stuff? You have really three main options, and we're gonna walk through those here today. I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of each. Okay, so option number one is basically to just sell it out of your home. Now, when I started 14 years ago, like I said, this wasn't really as much of a viable option because Facebook groups didn't exist and Facebook Marketplace didn't exist. This market has really just blossomed over the past few years with the development of social media, and it's a great place to start. Really a great option for anyone who's a beginner trying to just kind of test the waters and sell their first painted furniture pieces. However, it also has some limitations and some cons that I want you to be aware of. But let's talk first about the pros. All right, so the first one, like I said, is there's really no financial commitment except for, just the material, the furniture, and the paint that you're buying. You don't have to sign a lease somewhere. You're not committing to a physical space or a physical store. It's just you and your house. So great way to start if you want to start slow. Okay, so another pro of selling out of your home is you have total control over how much you want to sell and over your schedule. You can work on it whenever you want to work on it. You can sell as many pieces or as little pieces as you want. You don't have to worry about keeping a space full. So you have the ultimate amount of flexibility. You can also make sure that you accept cash payments, which means that you're not paying any credit card fees. Also, you don't have a booth owner or a mall owner taking a cut. So you kind of get the most, you're gonna get the most of your payment when someone's standing there in your house paying you cash. And then finally, another pro is you're not hauling as much stuff around, right? So you've got to find it, get it to your house to work on it, but then you're not hauling it anywhere else again, back up and forth to a booth space. And so if you have limited transportation, or if you just don't really enjoy that process, then that's a great pro of selling out of your house. So now a few cons of selling out of your house. So it's true that you don't have to haul your pieces up to your booth space. However, you could have some storage problems because until you sell that furniture, you have to find a place to store it. So you got to think about, do you want furniture all in your garage? Do you want to still be able to use your garage? Do you want furniture stored somewhere in your house? Make a plan for where you're going to store your pieces until they sell. That could be a major con for some people. Okay, another con is that you wind up spending a lot of time on your phone all day long managing, people messaging you, emailing you. You guys know what it's like to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace and online. Like just all day long, you're getting messages, you're picking up your phone, lots of communicating back and forth. You're coordinating when they're gonna come look at it, when they're gonna come pick it up. You're kind of responsible for all of that customer relation. And if you're not a people person, that could be draining for you. And it's also just really distracting to your day. And of course, dealing with the no-shows, right? The people that say they're gonna come and they don't come. Just know, that's kind of the downside of that, is that you wind up being that person that has to deal with all of those customer relations during the selling process. So related to that, you also are gonna have to be responsible for getting eyeballs on your furniture. You're gonna have to market it. Just because you throw it onto Facebook Marketplace doesn't mean that enough people are going to see it. There really is a limited number of people that shop online locally in those type of groups in your area. You guys, I know that you do because that's probably how you find your pieces, and we're those kind of people, right? but not everybody does. And so there's going to be some people that are going to miss your furniture because they're looking for it in a store. So you've got to figure out how to market your business. You've got to figure out how to get eyeballs on your stuff that you have for sale in your house, because it's not out at a store somewhere where it's just getting natural views and foot traffic. Okay, and the last big con, and this is for someone, especially if you're really trying to make a go at this and grow your business, is that it's just really hard to present yourself as a legit business when you're 100% operating from your home. Now, I am a huge fan of a home-based business. However, I want you to think about just what it feels like to go shop at a store versus what it feels like to go shop and pick something up from someone's home, right? It's a totally different experience. And so if you're trying to elevate your business and elevate your brand, it's harder to do that when that's all happening in your front room or in your dining room, where you have that piece of furniture that you staged beautifully and you took those beautiful photos and you've got somebody coming to look at it and your dog is barking and maybe your kids are running around. It kind of ruins the magic, if that makes sense, right? So you've got to work a little bit harder at creating your brand, having your customers know that you're professional, that this is a legit business. That's just all a little bit harder to do when you're doing it out of your house. So if you've been doing it out of your house for a while and maybe you're ready, hey, this is going well, I enjoy this, then maybe you're ready to take it to the next step, which is option number 2, and that's selling out of a physical space. All right, so some real pros of selling out of a physical space. This is how I have operated Lost and Found and sold the vast majority of my painted furniture. I have rented booth spaces in both a true flea market antique mall. I've done vintage market days. I also rented a space at a small boutique store, which was a very different experience than kind of being in a regular antique mall. And I've even had my own brick and mortar store for 2 years. So I've kind of tried all of it. So the bulk of my furniture has been sold this way, and there's some major pros to doing it like this. So the first one is you do get that regular foot traffic, right? You've got people that are just out shopping, especially if you're in a great location that already has a great customer base. You and your business can benefit from all of that marketing work that they've done. They've already got customers coming in that know that great furniture is at that store. They're looking for it, and your business gets to benefit from that. Another pro is that you don't have to manage the customer relations, right? If you're not a people person and you don't want to be the one dealing with all those messages on your phone all day long, you just take it up to wherever it's being sold and you leave it there, right? Most of you, that's going to be a booth. And then it's the folks that run your mall. Those people are going to be the ones that are going to be doing the bulk of the customer relations for you. Okay, so another big pro is that you don't have to store as much stuff. So once you get done painting your piece, you can take it up to your physical space and leave it there, right? And then it's not taking up room in your garage or whatever, and you can move on to your next project. So for me, that's always a big deal. And you guys, I really do think that if you're going to be in this business long term, that you need to come up with a plan that is where you're going to store your pieces that isn't in your garage or in your house, because that gets old after a while. So that's a great part about renting a booth space or having a physical space. You paint the piece and then it goes and it lives up there until it's sold and you don't ever have to see it again. All right, and the last big pro that I see is that I really do believe that if you're going to sell your furniture at a physical location, whether that's a booth, vintage market days, or even trying to open your own store, I think you're gonna get in front of a higher end customer than just selling it through your home on Facebook Marketplace. There are just some people, you guys, that aren't gonna shop on Facebook Marketplace or whatever that platform is that you're using. They're just not gonna do that, and they wanna come to your home. Just some people don't wanna do that. And I know that that's probably hard for you to understand, because you probably do that all the time, and so do I. But I'm telling y'all, there's people that just don't. They don't want to do that. They want to go out to a real store. And so usually that customer is a customer that's ready to pay a little bit more money. They're not necessarily looking for a deal. They're looking for a shopping experience. So I really believe that you get in front of a little bit of a better customer when you have your pieces in the store. And you're also able to just better develop your brand. You can present yourself as a professional, legit business when you're in a store. Your piece stays staged beautifully. Your dog isn't barking, your kids aren't running around when the customer comes to look at it. It's still just as beautiful as it was in that photo that they saw, and they're having a very professional experience in a real store while they're there buying it, and that just gives your business a lot of legitimacy. Okay, there are some cons to selling in a store. So the first one is obviously it's just a bigger financial risk, and they take a little cut of your money. So instead of the customer paying you all cash, they're paying your mall or wherever, or even if your own store, you know, they're paying credit cards. Somewhere you've got some fees coming out, 10 to 15%, sometimes even more. So you have to think about that as you're pricing your pieces, that you're not going to keep every single dollar. Some of that is going to go to the payment processor or whoever is the owner of where you're selling. It also takes a little bit more setup for you to kind of do it right and do it legally. A lot of times malls are going to want you to have your resale tax license. Sometimes you need to kind of go ahead and set yourself up as a registered business with the state. There's just a little bit more of kind of that documentation work sometimes that malls want to have when you rent a booth space. So a little bit more setup, a little bit more work on the front end. Okay, another con is that you're now on a fixed schedule, right? If you're renting a booth space from an antique mall, you can't go up there whenever you want. Most of the time, you can only go during regular mall open hours. You're gonna have to adjust your business to fit into somebody else's schedule. When you were doing it all out of your home, remember it was completely flexible and on your own schedule. And then of course, the last con is, yes, you're gonna have to haul your piece of furniture again. You gotta think about that, you know? You don't wanna be having to borrow your brother's truck every time you need to restock your booth and keep furniture there. You wanna make sure that you have transportation ready and that's not gonna be a problem for you, because you're gonna be hauling your pieces to that booth space on a regular basis. All right, option number 3, and can be a little bit of a hybrid of the two, but it's selling your pieces online, but not locally to people. We're talking about selling online and shipping your pieces. And mostly that's done through the Etsy platform right now. That really can be a wonderful thing if you have really developed yourself as a professional furniture painter. This can be an option where you can really elevate your business and really elevate your brand. There's a lot of pros that go with it. There's also some cons too, so let's work through those. All right, so the pros is obviously you've got a huge, wide audience. The audience on Etsy is massive, and it is throughout the entire US, and people already know that great furniture is on Etsy. They're there looking for it and they're ready to buy. And most of those people are ready to pay also higher dollars, because when furniture is on Etsy, you guys, it just costs more. It does. It's priced higher than typically what it is in your local store. So you've got a really wide audience, and an audience that's ready to pay. They know what they're looking for, and when they find it, they're ready to buy. Like I said, it is a great way for you to build a name for your brand, build a broader business where you are selling to people not just locally but all over the country. That can be a really amazing development for your business. And like I said, you can sell your pieces for better prices when you're selling them on a platform like Etsy. Of course, part of the reason why the prices are higher is because there's some fees in there. We're going to talk about that in the cons. All right, so major con of this is just the logistics of it. You guys, shipping furniture is not easy. You are going to have to figure out the process for that. And a similar con is just managing the customer relations of that, okay? Making sure that the piece arrives undamaged. If it is damaged, how are you going to fix it? Did you describe every little single thing? You know, if there's a sticky drawer, you got to make sure that you're describing that to the customer. You want them to be completely satisfied with their furniture when it shows up. And so if it's got some quirks of an old piece of furniture, you've got to make sure you talk through all of that. So just the logistics and the managing those relations, that's a lot of work, and you're doing it all kind of over email communication. So be ready for managing that. Storing, we're back to a storage issue here. You're going to have to store the pieces somewhere until they sell. So come up with a plan for that. And then the last con is just those fees. Like I said, you are paying for shipping. If something gets damaged during the shipping, like there could be some fees incurred for you having to fix the furniture. Etsy, you guys, is not cheap. Etsy takes a pretty high fee percentage, you can bet on around 8 to 9% of what you're selling it for, they're going to take a cut of. And so you have to build that in to your profit. And then the last con that I really see is that I think if you're going to sell pieces like this, they really have to be really special pieces. Like, I think if you're going to paint, you know, an everyday desk that you would sell for $150, nobody's going to want to pay $300 to ship a $150 desk. The pieces that do the best online being shipped, because shipping is expensive, $300 to $400 to ship a piece of furniture. They're going to have to be your wow pieces, your amazing pieces, the things that are super high quality. There are people there that are willing to pay for them, but they're going to want to pay for those wow factor, really great high-end pieces. So if right now you don't know how to access furniture like that, or that's not your typical inventory, that could be a major con. You're going to have to kind of up your game with the type of pieces that you're finding, the type of furniture that you're sourcing, and then making sure that you are doing excellent work on the furniture that you're selling through that platform. Okay, so 3 options for you, and you know, they may fit just at different stages of your business. You may live in this one for a little while and then try this one. I personally have tried all of them. I've only shipped one thing ever and decided it just was not for me. So I've sold from my house, and mostly I have sold from an antique booth. But I think they're all great options for you. It just depends on what you want to do. And like anything else, it's managing your expectations. They all have ups and they all have downs. Okay, so in closing, just a few general tips for starting your painted furniture business if you're just starting out, okay? Tip number 1 is you want to paint quality pieces. You guys, if you're buying cheap pressboard furniture and you're putting some paint on it, your furniture may look really nice, but your customer is still going to recognize it as cheap furniture. So you want to find things that are really great quality pieces. Sure, maybe they still need some repair work, but they are nice, sturdy, solid pieces. That's going to help give you a reputation to your customers that you paint beautiful and high quality things. Don't paint the cheap stuff. It's not worth your time. All right, you want to learn how to take well-staged photos, no matter how you're selling your furniture. Whatever option, 1, 2, or 3. Now, I have a blog post that I wrote up on this a few years ago. I'm linking it right now, and it's got some great and easy tips for you on how you can learn how to do this. And my 3rd tip is just to refine your craft, okay? Now, you don't have to be perfect at painting furniture to sell your first piece, right? My first few pieces that I painted were so far from perfect. I've grown so much in the 14 years that I've been painting furniture. So don't be afraid if somebody likes your piece and they want to pay you for it, don't be afraid to take their money, right? But just as you go, refine and perfect your process so that you know that you're producing the best quality painted furniture that you know how to create. You make sure that you're using the right top coats, that you're prepping properly, that you're using the right tools to get the finish smooth that you want to get, okay? You want to provide people with a really beautiful, high quality, lasting piece. That is going to benefit your business so much because you're going to get repeat customers. All right, guys, so that's what we have today. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, if you are completely new to the idea of wanting to sell your painted furniture, I have an ebook that I have written called Furniture Flipper. It's a short guide to starting your own furniture painting business. It is $12 over in my online store. If you use the code YouTube, you can get 15% off. It's a downloadable ebook, so just download it, read it. There you go. But it walks through some of this information and so much more, everything you need to know to get started if it's something that you are considering doing. Let me know maybe how you sell your pieces in the comments, or if there's one of these options that you want to give a try, or if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. Leave us a like, a thumbs up on this video, and please subscribe. We've got more business tips, furniture painting tutorials, some thrifting, some decorating, lots more stuff planned. So y'all are amazing. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.